Okay, we're gonna get into our next one, you guys. We got baseball. The Texas Rangers, they defeat the D-backs to win the 2023 Baseball World Series. Now, James, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, we were talking about the Astros most of the show, and they kind of just wiped the Astros out. Like, how do you feel about them? Because we were expecting them to, do a redo.
A back-to-back World Series win would have been fantastic here for Houston.
Yeah.
But they got to the playoffs, and I'm at least happy enough with that.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see them go a little bit further.
Yeah.
But, it was just the Rangers' time.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like they just snuck up in the championship in the situation. But they beat the D-backs in a 4-1 game. So they were already 3-1 already. To handle business, and they won 5-0. That's crazy. So honestly, James, this was the most complicated series like I ever watched because both teams wasn't letting up in this game. And I get, it's a championship game, of course. On the D-back side, they're trying to fight to maintain this championship series, and the Rangers are trying to get it done. Like this game, they're trying to get it done right here. But now, they're saying that this is their first championship win in history. So, I mean, that's great. How you feel about that?
You know what? Congratulations to Dallas. And I'm curious about how they're going to look here in the future and if they're going to be able to keep up the success. I see them keeping the success up.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like a fuel momentum thing for them, definitely. If we kind of just look at both teams' pros and cons, man, they both had good defense early till the 7th inning. I mean, nobody scored until the 7th inning. Picture that, James. Like most of the game, nobody. It's kind of how them Super Bowl games kind of go when it's like 0-0 and a team wins by 3,
really
something
slow.
like that. Yeah. The D-backs, they got lazy kind of at the end in the 8th, and then they missed a catch that really cost them in this game, James. It was a double point play. You can't miss catches in no championship game. You gotta be on it, even though ball kind of went past them, but it cost them, a lot.
That sounds like it was more about concentration than it had to do with skill.
Yeah, definitely concentration. The Rangers, they showed out on offense when needed at the end. They kind of, once they got that first point, they said, okay, we're finna hit home run. We're gonna secure this bag and let's wrap it up. So, what does this mean for the Astros though? Because like we said, we thought they was gonna be a rewind and winning it again. How do you feel like their team's gonna be next year?
I think the Astros are going to return to the playoffs next year. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly how far they're going to go.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I think everybody who lives in Texas should be happy for these wins because I saw the comedian Greg Fitzsimmons a few weeks ago at a show, and he had asked everybody how they felt about the Rangers. And a lot of people were pretty upset.
Yeah.
They were saying wrong city and stuff. But then he had kind of explained, like, you pay taxes for the whole state, so they're kind of all your teams. And I never really thought about it that way. I mean, that's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah,
so
that is true. I don't see, why there's so much malice between them. They should be kind of happy, they're winning their first championship. The Astros, they already did it, so you should try to let another team in your state shine,
I think part of the reason is because the Astros were in the playoffs, and then you see the Rangers surpassing them. So if the Rangers hadn't been in the playoffs, or maybe the Astros weren't in the playoffs, maybe Houstonians are happier for the win.
Yeah, but I get it. It's a Houston versus Dallas thing, different city. But it's like, I kind of always thought they were all like, one team, close. But I guess not. But I'm happy for them. I'm definitely happy for them. What was the main factor in them winning this game? You watched it, right?
Yes. I would say, for me, and this also is kind of my player of the game, is pitcher John Gray and his relief of a hurt Max Scherzer. And this was in Game 3.
Right.
And I know he struck out Gabriel Moreno and then sent the first 8 batters back to the bench with 3 included strikeouts.
Wow, that's crazy.
leading up to Gray's play, the Diamondbacks had put up 14 home runs, and after he went up, they only scored 8 runs for the whole rest of the series. So that was a major factor, especially there in Game 3, I feel like.
Definitely a main factor. For me, I would say their defense in this game. I mean, it was, I know it was kind of frustrating for the pitchers to keep having to strike out and keep not getting points on the board, keep switching. I know it's frustrating. It's like one of those teams has to kind of give in, to that. It's kind of difficult. But no, it's definitely most exciting because you didn't know who was going to make that first move, So it was definitely, it was great. And kind of the last question is, what does the future hold for the Rangers, you think?
Well, they seem like they're a pretty young team, and as you had said, they kind of snuck in out of nowhere and were able to have success there in the postseason.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see more success for them. Let's say the next 5 years, they're going to be competitive.
Definitely, yeah. It's still early on, and you got a championship early on, and you're still a young team, so they definitely, if their mindset is there, they're definitely going to come back and try to wipe it again. But before we get into it, I'll pass it over to James. We got to get in the player of the game for this, for this team, man. I got to give it to Nathan Eovaldi, man. He's a beast, He was locked in on this game until the 7th inning. He was locked in until to the point where I think he got too many balls, out, So they had to kind of switch. But, to last to the 7th inning, striking people out and not, maintaining that 0-0, that's tough.
If Eovaldi is not under a long-term contract with Dallas, I think it would be smart for them to go ahead and focus on keeping the rights to this player.
Definitely. No, I definitely think they should keep him secure for sure. But you guys let us know your favorite baseball team. We're definitely going to keep you guys updated with them for next season and the Astros, of course. But I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, James.